they found is that when we treat these patients successfully with anti-inflammatory drugs, the populations move back towards normal. And in fact, the patients that didn't respond very well to the drugs didn't shift their microbial populations. So this is telling us that this inflammatory disease and these microbial populations are all connected in some complex way that we don't really fully understand yet. But we know, if you look at incidence of infectious disease over the last 50 years, this is the incidence of a bunch of different infectious diseases, largely decreasing because of vaccination, which is fantastic, because it's eradicated all these childhood deaths and much morbidity. We don't want to get away from that. That's a great thing that saved a lot of people. But at the same time, maybe one of the side effects of doing this is that we're getting an increase in these autoimmune type diseases. And you can see some of these diseases have doubled or tripled or even quadrupled over the last 50 years. So what's the relationship between infection and these diseases? And there's a lot of theories about this. There's a lot of work being done in animal models, and the picture's not entirely clear yet. One of the things that we think might be happening is that these infections set the immune system. So they set a point for the immune system where it expects a certain level of stimulation and won't overreact in the absence of pathogens. We know that from animal models that different types of pathogens will trigger different types of immune responses that are designed to eradicate that specific type of pathogen. And we know that some of these inflammatory diseases are associated with those types of inflammatory responses, and John might talk about this more specifically in asthma later on. And so there may be some relationship here about training the immune system in a particular way that predisposes it to infection. But one of the things that we've got to think about is that during human evolution, when the immune system was evolving, we all had chronic infection. So take Helicobacter pylori. This is a bacteria that was implicated in gastric cancer by an Australian who won the Nobel Prize, Barry Marshall. If you look even now in the developing world, virtually all people have a chronic Helicobacter pylori infection. For most of those people, they don't even know they have it. Some people get a bit of gastritis. Some of those people that get gastritis will go on and get gastric cancer, but only a small proportion. So this is a bug we evolved to live with. In Western populations, the rate of Helicobacter pylori infection is much lower. Parasites. We were all infected with parasites. We no longer have parasites, thank God, because they do cause quite a lot of morbidity. But the immune system was seeing those parasites, and that was probably influencing the development of immunity and the set point of the immune system. And I just want to touch now on early life stuff. I mentioned this before. There's some interesting data that's sort of evolving out now. There's even data that there's transfer